This video is about how to graph the function y equals the absolute value of x. So here's our given function, negative 1/2 times the absolute value of x plus 4, and outside of this bracket is minus 3. So say you didn't know what the parent function was, and that is what you need in order to graph this. You should be able to find it in two different ways with this equation. Is you should be able to tell that these two lines here are only present when talking about the absolute value. But if you don't know that, then you can find it by identifying these transformations and taking them out, and what's left is your parent function. So this negative indicates that we have a vertical reflection, so across the x-axis. The 1/2 is a vertical compression, so we're compressing the function down. The plus 4 is the translation left 4 units, and the minus 3 is the translation down 3 units. So once you take all those out, what we have left is y equals the absolute value of x, which is our parent function. And if you were to type that in your calculator, you would see a line that looks like that. It's kind of V-shape. And the first thing we want to do here is we want to apply our vertical reflection. So we're just taking this V and flipping it upside down. So here I'll use my yellow marker. It will look something like that. And now the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and apply our translations. We're going to skip the compression for last because it's easier to do it once it's all set. So left 4 units and down 3. So we're going to take this point right here and do left 4 units and down 3. So it'll be around here. But we still have to apply this vertical compression. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that. And the vertical compression changes the slope from 1 to 1/2. So every time, you go over 2 units and down 1. So 1, 2, down 1. 1, 2, down 1. So the line will look something like that. And same for this side. I'm just going to estimate. Okay, so this should be this function, and this black line is our parent function. So once we have our function, this one, we're going to go ahead and discuss the characteristics. We're going to start with domain and range. Domain talks about the x values, and the range talks about the y values. So our domain is x equals all real numbers, and that is because there's no asymptotes for this function. Therefore, there's no line or number that x or y cannot reach or go past. So x equals all real numbers because it can go this way infinitely and it can go negative infinitely. But the range is y is less than or equal to negative 3. That is because y stops right here and then goes down again. So it goes up and then down. This is not an asymptote though because it can be equal to negative 3. It never does not reach that number. The next thing we're going to talk about is the end behavior. The end behavior talks about what happens to y when x approaches something, or what happens to x when y approaches something. So one scenario is as x approaches infinity, so as x goes that way infinitely, y approaches negative infinity. And that is because as x goes infinitely this way, the y values go down. Our next scenario is as x approaches negative infinity, y also approaches negative infinity. Because as x goes negatively that way, y goes down as well, because it's a down V shape. So that is how you would graph the function that y equals the absolute value of x.